build the products. Now the team is over 350 people across the world, building one of the largest racing franchises in existence. And the reason we build this game is actually, though it's in the racing genre, is for a love of cars. And that's what Forza is all about. It's about car passion. Our vision is to turn gamers into car lovers and car lovers into gamers. So while that does include racing, it includes great simulation, amazing graphics. It also includes community, painting, tuning, storefront, auction house. It also includes innovation, such as Connect and AutoVista. So I'm going to set the stage a little bit, kind of talk about the game broadly across the entire game, and show you guys a little demo of AutoVista, take a little bit of questions, and then the real goal is to get you to play the game. We have a lot of stations here. I'll be walking around doing interviews, taking questions and the like. But what I'm basically going to talk to you about for the next 15, 20 minutes is an overview. So I mentioned that car passion is what drives our team and what drives our game. And often I talk to people, and some people get car passion, they're into cars, they love cars, and other people say, well, you know, I'm not really into cars. And I would challenge you on that, honestly. Cars speak to people on multiple levels. Now, obviously, there's supercars like these that many people will never see in person in their lives. And even if they see them in person, rarely do they get to drive them. And these speak to people on an emotional level. But cars that speak to people even more emotionally are cars like your first car. Your first car is like your first love. My first car was a 1973 Toyota Corolla. In America, we call that a shitbox. And that car, pardon my language, I'm a developer.
That's okay.
That's okay.
That car I bought for $250 US. A dog had chewed through the seatbelt on the passenger side. The post was broken, so whenever somebody sat in the passenger seat, they looked out the window. It smelled like fish on hot days. It stuck going into first gear. It was truly a horrible car. But I grew to love that car because it was my car. And it was my ticket to freedom. It was my ability to get out of the city. It was my ability to take that car to university. And as I've traveled around, I found that that's very common. That people have a car that they're kind of ashamed of, and yet they actually love that car. Now, we have hundreds and hundreds of cars in Forza Motorsport. There are over 500 cars in Forza Motorsport 4, and we'll do 10 cars of downloadable content add-ons every month. But the reason we have hundreds of cars is not because I expect you to collect hundreds of cars. I want you to find the 5 to 10 cars that really speak to you, that really matter to you. And that's why we have over 80 manufacturers. The reason we have more manufacturers than any other game is because that ensures we have the diversity around the entire world, different types of gaming culture, different types of car culture. And that's what this game's all about, uniting people, different people, a lot of diversity in an inclusive experience that gets them thinking about cars in a new way. So in Forza, you can play how you want. You can play with a controller, play with a wheel. There's the new wireless speed wheel. It'll be out around the same time we ship. And you can also play with Connect. Now, Connect is integrated in 4 key ways. We have Connect Driving. And that's great if you've got kids. I've got twin boys, so they find this very complicated. They're still very young. But they can actually use Connect Driving to sit on the couch next to me and play split screen. Which is great, because what I want is to get people thinking about cars in new ways. I want to create the next generation of car lover, and I can't force them to love cars. I need to entice them with fun experiences. Now, Connect is also integrated for more core players, players that love Forza. You can do Connect head tracking. Now that works using your head as basically a way to look into the corners. So as you move your head, subtle movements to look at the edge of the screen, or as you lean, it looks at the apex, you can power through the corners. We have Connect voice hyperlinking. Now, if you're familiar with Forza, you know that Forza has a lot of front end, a lot of user interface. So that means we have 6 levels of painting, and we have all this tuning and upgrading in the community. And with Connect voice, you can say, Xbox, paint car. And it will save your work down in the tuning area, back you all the way out, and take you into painting that quickly. And it's a way of using Connect to open up the game to even our most core Forza-loving players. Now, what I'd like to show you next is AutoVista. Now, I'll demo with a controller because it's easier than having me stand in front of you and show you things you don't want to see. So instead, I'm going to connect it, do it with a controller, and I think you'll understand basically how it works. So we'll go to AMG SLS. That car is in gray back there, and unlike an Auto Vista, you're not going to be able to get in that car. So here's how it works. I can lean to my right, I can lean to my left, move around the car, can back up, really take the car in. You can even move up close, crouch down, go in really close, and look at all the details on that car, on the brakes and the like. But it's a lot more than looking at the car. You know, we're really bringing the car into your living room, and what would you want to do with the car? You can reach your hand out and connect, and open up the door. Now, the cars we selected here are cars that I don't expect all people will know. In fact, most of these cars they'll never see in real life. We have cars in here that most people, unless you're a real petrol head, you're not going to know what the hell it is. But they fit together with all this amazing technology and history and anecdotes into a larger tapestry that hopefully gets people thinking about cars in a new way. Now, part of that is making the cars very interactive. So obviously the car is open all over the place. Now this allows me to move around, lean in close, and really check out the details around the engine, around the intakes. You can see the carbon fiber, see all those details. But around every car, there are also points of interest, where you can get more information about the car just by reaching your hand out and touching it.
Le V8 de 6 litres 3 développe 579 chevaux. Il propulse la voiture à 100 km/h en 3 secondes 6 et permet une vitesse de pointe de 317 km/h.
Now some of these points of interest are more informational, like that one, more technical. But we also entered into a long-term creative partnership with Top Gear out of the UK. And the goal around that was to, frankly, provide more humor and levity and more context around the cars. Forza is known for its accuracy, for its credibility, for its authenticity. But that means at times we can be a bit dry. But by adding Top Gear, you're learning more about cars and hopefully introducing you to cars in a new way.
This is not just the greatest car Mercedes makes. Right now, I think it's the greatest car in the world. It's more powerful than a Ferrari 458, it's a little bit louder than a Lamborghini, and it's way more fun than the 911 RS GT Turbo 3S or whatever this week's Ultimate Beetle is called.
Now, obviously, Jerry's got opinions about our cars, and that's what we wanted. We wanted him to provide that kind of context. Now, these cars fit together as, you know, it's equivalent to having Ralph Lauren's garage in your living room. These are cars that are very rare, and as I mentioned, that car, you're not going to be allowed to open up the door or get inside. Really check out all the details with the stitching and the carbon fiber and the aluminum. And you're not going to be allowed to reach down and start it up. So hopefully this experience is opening up cars and opening up games to a whole new type of player. Gamers that find this intimidating, but think cars are cool. Or players that are actually familiar with the controller, but don't know anything about cars. And this starts making them think about cars as a work of art, as a piece of technical mastery. Now, play how you want extends to a lot more than just the controller. It also is how you play through your career. Let's bring the volume down. So I'm going to go into the World Tour mode. I'm in the career right now. And actually, the car you're seeing up here is BMW M3. This is my car. So again, as I'm mentioning, find your own path. Find the cars that drive you. This is the car I drive to work in every day. It has the same black wheels, tinted windows, and it's got the blue metal fleck. So obviously, this is a car I'm passionate about. So when I play through the career, this would naturally be a car that I would use. Now, as you play through World Tour, we take you around the world to some of the greatest racetracks you're going to find. We have Infineon, Hockenheim, the Top Gear test track. There's an original track in the Swiss Alps, and we even have Indianapolis. Now, of course, there are classic tracks like Le Mans. We have great tracks in this game. And when you go from location to location to location, we give you options of different races you want to do. And we did that in Forza 3 as well. But there have been some specific changes to this version, actually several, that really bring out the car passion in people as they play. So obviously, I'm in the BMW M3. And so I've got an option to do the E92 spec race. I can do the M3 history race, I'll get the M3 versus AMG race, the BMW versus S4 race, I'm going to get the history of M Power, the rear wheel drive, the V8, you get my point. As I play through the game, there are always more events that feel like they were made for the cars that I love. And that means that my career and your career are going to be completely different, based on the passion that drives you. Now, there's another big change in here, in that when you level up in Forza 3, we give you a gift card. And if you don't like that gift card, I'm sorry, but you're going to use it anyway. And that's really not what Forza is all about. We want to give people choice so they can follow their own passion. So when you level up in Forza 4, we give you options of gift cards. So I might get an option between the BMW M3, a Mercedes AMG, or an Audi S4, and I can follow my passion. I continue to get BMWs. I might get a choice between an old BMW 2002 or a Nissan Fairlady. And those choices are meant to kind of make you think, which way do I want to go, and get you more invested. And then the career is going to respond by giving you more events based on the cars that you love and based on the cars that you own. One thing I didn't mention, again, these presentations I've been doing, honestly, I don't have a script. I kind of cover random features. I'm kind of harebrained that way. I'm sorry about that. We have profile import. So if you're a Forza 3 player, you played a lot of it, we're going to look at what level you were, certain cars you have in your garage. We read that in, and when you start Forza Motorsport 4, you start off with already a great car collection. Cars like the 458, cars like the Bugatti Veyron, cars like the Peugeot 908. You start the career that way, and automatically you're going to start getting races that feel very natural for you. So there's a couple things I'd like to cover and get in the community, but really I want to get you guys playing. So from a high level, a big part of the innovation that's coming